Right. What is Oracle architecture? Oracle architecture, just I mentioned here, instance and database. Instance and database. Instance I mentioned as a high level memory. Database I mentioned high level your storage. The memory, the moment you say memory, memory is not a physical one. It's a volatile. It's a RAM. So you can think it as a logical structure. Instance and database. Instance and database. Instance is a logical structure which is combination of memory and background process. And database is nothing but your physical OS files or the ASM files, whatever that system sysocks undo, all those files. So if you further go, again, I'm just explaining theoretical part today. I don't have a lab to show it as a demo. Maybe on Monday we'll go over all of this and I'll show that all the memory structure, background processes. But now I'll keep it simple and then I'll try to brief it in high level. So if I say instance is a logical structure made up of memory and background process, and just a memory, I just mentioned a 2 to 3 GB memory. And that 2 to 3 GB memory internally divided into two subcomponent, SGA and PGA. And then in that background process, we divide again into mandatory background process and non-mandatory background process. This is all for my instance. And then this SGA again internally divided into so many subcomponent. SGA stands for your system global area or shared global area. So that SGA internally contains shared pool, large pool, stream pool, Java pool, database buffer cache, log buffer cache. And that PG again internally contains so many subcomponent. PGA stands for private global area or program global area. So that PGA internally contains your stack space, cursor area, sort area, temp area, bit tree or bitmap area, and the UGA. So this is your memory component. As part of that instance, your memory component is consist of SGA and PGA. And that instance has the other structure called background process, which are mandatory and non-mandatory background process. Your mandatory background process are SMON, PMON, debrighter, logwriter, checkpointer. Your non-mandatory background process are so many. Archiver, recoverer, job queue, job monitor, M1, MN, MMNL, so many. So if anyone asks you to explain about your database architecture or brief about, if somebody asks you can you brief about database architecture or Oracle architecture, you have to talk about whatever I'm covering now. So each of these again has its own task. Shared pool is for holding your metadata information. Shared pool is again helpful for holding your the SQL IDs. And the large pool is basically used for your IO, heavy IO activities like RMAN, backup, restore, export, import. Stream pool is used for your Java application if your application is connecting via JVM framework. Sorry, stream pool is used for your replication. If you have a golden gate table level replication and all, stream pool will be used. And Java pool will be if your application is using a JVM and they're using a JVM Java virtual machine or the JVM framework to connect to your database, the Java pool will be used. Database buffer cache will be for all your transaction. Anything read, write, or any modification, all those actual end user data, the table data will be written into your buffer cache. The log buffer cache is for your transaction logs, whatever that update statement, whatever that insert statement, whatever the delete statement, drop statement, create statement, whatever the DML, DDL modification, those transaction information will be logged into your log buffer cache. Right? So that's a quick definition about each of those component. And again, in the PGA, stack space is a predefined free memory will be allocated for each user. Cursor area, if you're running your PL SQL procedures, stored procedures, the cursor area will be used. Sort area is for your temporary sorting operations. This temp area and sort area. Temp area is for holding your temporary data. Sort area is for your any SQL statement you're doing order by ascending, order by descending, then your sort area and temp area will be used. Bit tree and bitmap area if you are using a bit tree and bitmap index on a table, and then where conditions you're running it for those queries, bit tree and bitmap area will be used. The user area UGA is user global area is only for any user specific variable are defined. Those will be held over here. Those are your memory component, which is part of your instance. And the background processes, again part of your instance. SMON is system monitor, PMON is process monitor, DB writer is database writer, LGWR is the log writer, check pointer. Again, single definition for each of these is SMON is your system monitor for any crash recovery. Anything your instance crash happens, your SMON will go and then read those redo logs and then understand which are committed transaction, which are uncommitted transaction, and it will go for roll forward and roll back. And then make your database instance into consistent state. PMON is process monitor, which will keep a track of all the connected users. And if any users are disconnected due to network issue or session timeout or the process got killed, the PMON process will clean up those user specific, whatever the resource held by that user. DB writer will write data from your database buffer cache to your actual data files. And log writer is going to write the data from your log buffer cache to your data files, sorry, your read log files. And check pointer is going to update your data file and control file header information with the latest SCN numbers. SCN is stand for system change number. But these are a quick one-liner definition for each of these processes. And in the interview, they may ask you what is SMON, what it will do, what is debrider, what it will do, what is log writer, what it will do. Right. So these are one-liner definition. Maybe we'll discuss in next Monday's class in more details. I just mentioned that log debrider write from database buffer cache to data files. I just mentioned log writer writes the data from log buffer cache to redo log files. But how frequently they will write? And what are the conditions they will write it? And then what happens if the log buffer is full? What happens if the DB buffer is full? And inside DB buffer, again, if you go, we have pinned buffer, we have dirty buffer, we have cache miss, cache hit. And if you go inside shared pool, we have soft parsing and hard parsing. And we have something called execution plan. What are those? How do I visualize that one? So once I draw a diagram about this architecture and then start explaining, start connecting all these dots, then you will understand more. But for now, high level overview in an interview, if they ask about individual process, what it will do, what's the task, if they ask about what individual memory component, what it will do, and if they ask about what is Oracle architecture, you should be able to explain all this, whatever I'm explaining it now. Right, those about your mandatory background process. And coming to this non-mandatory archiver, if your database is in archive log mode, this archive process will come, otherwise it will not come. This archive process is nothing but whatever this log writer writes the data from log buffer cache to your redo log files, the copy of that redo log will be kept it in a separate location called archive redo logs. And then recoverer is for your distributed transactions. And if you are running a query, you're running a transaction across multiple databases using a DB link, those are called distributed transactions. If your remote databases are not responding, not sending the data, then those transactions are called as the in-doubt transactions. And your recoverer process will be keep on monitoring those transactions. And whenever there's a transactions are in doubt, then it's gonna clean up those transactions. Job queue monitor, it's gonna put all the end user queries into queue, and then it's gonna serve those requests. M1 is for memory management manageability, your automatic memory management or automatic shared memory management. Again, we'll talk in detail in Monday's class. In a simple definition, M1 is monitoring your memory assignment. And in that, we have automatic memory management and automatic shared memory management. Automatic memory management meaning you define your instance as a 10 GB. That 10 GB will be automatically assigned to your SGA and PGA. Let's say Oracle automatically assign, okay, SGA 6 GB, PGA 4 GB. We don't have any control. Database itself assign it for based upon your database transaction. How busy your database, it will assign more memory to SGA or more memory to PGA. You are defining one fixed memory and that will be automatically distributed to your SGA and PGA. Here, automatic shared memory management, you are defining a two memory, meaning I want fixed 6 GB memory for my SGA. I want fixed 4 GB memory for my PGA. Inside that 6 GB, internally all this sub memory component can be assigned automatically. Inside that 4 GB memory, whatever I assigned, let's database can decide how much memory is needed for each of these automatically. So that is your simple definition of automatic memory management or automatic shared memory management. Automatic shared memory management meaning you are going to define what is your SGA and what is your PGA memory size. And inside that automatically sub memory component will be assigned. Here in automatic memory management, I'm going to define one fixed memory, like 10 GB is my total memory. And that 10 GB will be automatically divided into your SGA and PGA. SGA will be 5 GB and PGA will be 5 GB, or SGA will be 6 GB, PGA will be 4 GB. Oracle will decide based upon what type of database. That's a simple definition of your AMM and ASMM, automatic memory management or automatic shared memory management. That will be managed by your M1, one more other background process. MMNL is for your AWR report. And likewise, we have another 10, 20 non-mandatory background process. So the name itself suggests mandatory and non-mandatory, meaning you if you kill this process, or if you kill this process, or if you kill this process, automatically that process will be restarted. You don't need to worry at all. These are non-mandatory. What about this mandatory? If you kill this process, or if you kill this process, the moment you kill this one, your instance will go down. If your instance goes down, your database is like kind of useless. Nobody can access the database. Your database and instance has to be up and running parallelly. Then only you can access the database and you can connect to database. So these are mandatory. This process has to be up and running. If anyone kill this process or OS kill this process, any one of that or all of that, your instance will go down. And parallelly your database will go down. Non-mandatory, if you kill or whatever happened, doesn't matter. It will automatically restarted. Right, that is your simple definition or the brief introduction about your instance. And coming to database is nothing but your physical files. Database is a physical structure or the data files which is residing under OS file system or your ASM file system. And those data files will be stored under your respective OS or ASM. These data files are backend storage files, OS or on ASM. System, sysocs, undo, temp, and user, whatever we are seeing here. System, sysocs, undo, temp. And same thing goes for your dev database, which will be under local OS file system. Great. So that is a quick intro about your database architecture or Oracle architecture. This will be only in our lab 1. And coming to lab 2, this Oracle architecture, what I just covered for your DevDB or your TestDB. So your DevDB and TestDB, whether your database is running under OS or database running under ASM, this architecture remains same.